Hey everyone, Sarah Tonen for one more video tonight. I wanted to get to the very cool things that I have found in my basement. And here we have it. So, my basement in all its glory. Look at it, with a window or a coal shuttle, as they like to say. Let's make this a little bigger. Let's make that Debussy a little louder too, hey? It always gets a bit loud at some point, but anyway. La cathédrale engloutie. The sunken cathedral. In the spirit of my floating churches all around Chicago. So here we are in my basement. Okay. This is a mud flood window, otherwise known as a coal shuttle or a coal chute. And this, people, is the beautiful stone in my basement that is ever so different from everything else. Come have a look. And here we have it again. And up there is the brick, and that would be the first floor, or the main level now. And here we are. And let's keep going. I'm just going to show you around. Here's some more close-ups. I have to apologize. Our basement is chock full. We are collectors in this house. I've always been obsessed with antiques, and my neighbor has also, and this is his family home. He's been living here since he was 3. I've known this house for a long time and the family for a long time, and there's some treasures in that basement which I will show when you get there. And so here we are. This is the front of the house. So this is the same wood panel you would have seen in the first picture, and this is the stone, what I would like to call the mud flood stone, and up here is the brick, the new brick. And as you can see, it stops before it reaches the floor up top. So I wonder if our house is in the process of being built during the mud flood. And I also wanted to point out, Toronto was originally called York. Not Old York, not New York, York. And so I'm starting to wonder if there was a York, an Old York, up here, and New York got moved to New York. And so I'm wondering if Toronto was actually much more important than it used to be, or sorry, than it is now. It used to be much more important. And it was also known, and you can see this in a lot of history books, as Muddy York. And there were jokes about this. What was it now? A man is seen, no, there's a hat in the street, and a man picks it up from the sidewalk, and he's surprised to see a head underneath it. And he says, "Oh, goodness me, sir, can I help you out of the mud?" And he says, "No, I'm all right, but somebody needs to help me with this horse I'm riding." And this was a Toronto joke. So, Muddy York. There's so much to present. Oh my goodness. There's just so much to present. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, we're back to one of the first ones. Okay, here's the back of our basement. And here's a back door. A full-size human-shaped door. Human-sized door, I should say. Not human-shaped, really, because we're not all rectangles. And there are stairs going up that boop-a-doop into our garden. And this is where the house ended, but there has been an addition built on, another 2 rooms, and this is a crawl space in here. And after watching A Rebel Without a Pause's sort of presentation of the ladies from Yarmouth, I'm super interested in getting in there and, I don't know, doing some digging or whatever. And we also have stones in our garden that I believe came from down here too. Okay, so let's keep going. Here's the picture. This is a close-up of our crawl space. So I'm going to try and get in there. And you can see, again, more of this beautiful stone. And here, a couple of bricks got laid into the stone here. You can see them. Okay. And another important thing I really want to point out, for those of you who are not from Toronto, there's a really big valley with a river in it. It's called the Don Valley, Don River. Is the name of the river, and in there is something called the Toronto Brickworks, and Toronto has been making bricks for many, many, many decades. And I have noticed there are two types of brick. There is a red brick and there is a yellow brick. And the yellow brick is very interesting. The red bricks are called brownstones. I believe that's a common term for these houses. And the yellow brick, I don't know what they're called. I'm starting to get very interested in what's going on there with that. So we will continue as the weeks go on with that. And brick. There's brick separating our house from our neighbor's house. I live in a townhouse. So this to me proves that the size of our house was much, much larger. We lived in a grander house. Or we live in a house that was grander than it is today. I have to correct my language here. And so here we go. Again, you can see where the stone stops and the brick begins. Okay, this is pretty amazing. I'm just going to have to check out what's going on over here. Oh, it's an ad. Well, thank goodness. It's a good one. Oh, Debussy for babies. Perfect. Okay. This is a bit of tech that I found in my basement. This is a one that's... Oh, here we go. Perfect, perfect. Okay. Let's move in there. I don't know what this is. But... one of the things I've noticed in our neighborhood, and this will come up in the next video, I promise when I do the video of the neighborhood, in the peaks of the roofs, there are posts that are sort of carved at the top and the bottom, sort of like bedposts. And I believe that they are energy gathering posts. I believe that they held the device on the top. I don't know what this is, but it's super cool. And I wonder if, I'm imagining, as soon as I saw it, I just imagined that it affixes onto these posts because they have sort of a top like this, and that this would be what you have on the top of your house to gather your heat and your energy and your wireless, right? So there we go. I'm actually going to lie it down on its side again, and let's get in a bit here. And you see how it's got 3 holes, doop, doop, doop. And there's a little, you know, for the extra spike to come in through. And this, you know, this comes down right there, there, and there. And that's where the spike, the point of the wood would meet. I mean, I have no idea. This is completely a guess. No idea. Anyway, so there's that. That was the one that blew my mind. Literally the night before, Martin said in his last video that people have been noticing the Antiquitech in their Persian carpets. I was looking at our Persian carpet and I freaked out and noticed the Antiquitech in my Persian carpet. There is a bird's eye view of my little device. Look at this. This was found by my husband. I'm not entirely sure where, but I don't even know what to say about that. Oh, this is a better picture. I couldn't get the focus. This is everything Martin was talking about the other day. You know, the north, the south, the center point, the cross, the cardinal. You know, the 8-pointed cross. You know, the F. They're coming in from the corners. The angels. I mean, look at this. Vesica Pisces. Vesica Pisces. Vesica Pisces. I mean. Oh, it's like, it's so beautiful. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. There's a hole here, and at the bottoms, and in the center. Perfect hole. I believe that this is something to do with the fireplaces. Now, I asked my landlord about that, whether or not there was anything here in terms of fireplace, and he said no, there wasn't a fireplace at all, but we have a chimney. He said there was an oil furnace in the basement, right in the center of the basement. It was very old and they had to tear it out and took a bit of concrete with it. the house was not as big as they built onto it. He said they didn't use the stones from the basement to create rockery in the garden, so I don't know where those rocks came from, if they were already in the garden. But we do have what looks to me like the same stones in the basement in our garden. What else? The house was completely abandoned and totally derelict when they bought it. And in fact, someone had left like sides of meat in here and they were rotten. It sounded awful, actually. But no treasures. Nothing of any treasures were found. Of any, well, you know what? I'm just gonna retract all of that, because we haven't had a proper discussion, and actually my landlord has agreed to doing an interview. So let's just wait and see. And I'm going to do a follow-up, and I'm going to include it in my video about the neighborhood. And you'll get to see some of the houses on my street. In fact, the house across from me is one of the most impressive examples of a mud flood that I've seen in this neighborhood. So I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, thank you so much for coming back and checking out my cool basement and its interesting belongings. Any suggestions for digging around the property? I am in very good relationship with my landlord, and so it's a possibility that he'd be really up for that. He likes a good adventure. And yeah, I guess anything you want to share, and you will begin to see what I mean by the posts when I present my next video. So thank you so much for coming. I hope this picture gives you lots of joy. I love looking at this. It's on my sun porch right now, and I go out there and I check it out even though it's November, because it's awesome. And in fact, I'm probably going to go do that right now, because it's a beautiful night, and it's a beautiful piece, and it brings me a lot of pleasure. So thanks for dropping by again, and I hope to see you guys soon. Alright, have a good one.